Everyone, and welcome to your neighborhood Unitarian Universalist congregation. My name is Suzanne. I'm in my office at 310 Danforth, and I have your announcements for the coming week. Good news! This Saturday, October 16th, our new space at 310 Danforth will be open to the community. Please come by for a visit with our minister, Reverend Wayne, between 1 and 3. He hopes to see you there. And we still cannot find our quilt that has covered our piano for the last 10 years and hung in our space. If you have it or know who might have it or have seen it, please contact Hala or myself. The Chair Drive campaign. We will include the Chair Drive forms in the weekly announcements email. Alternatively, an e-transfer can be sent to office@nuuc.ca. It's that easy. And now a special announcement from Lou Ann Ship.
Good morning, everybody. Just want to talk a little bit about our auction this year. It's called 21 in 21, which means it's 2021 and it's our 21st anniversary of neighborhood. I'd like you to tell friends, ask your favorite store, your hairdresser, any place you frequent that might be able to make a donation to our auction this year. Or you could include a service of your own, dinner for 4, a tour of your favorite area in Toronto, or even house cleaning for somebody. We'd like any kind of donation that you could offer that would benefit the auction. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Luann. Honoring our ancestors. The Spirit Choir is preparing a video for a special service on Sunday, October 31st, and we need your help to honor our beloved departed. If you could please send in a photo of someone who is dear to you that has passed from this world to the next. It will be included in a video of a song that honors our ancestors and loved ones that have died. If you could send those photos to me at music@nuuc.ca by October 24th, then I can include them. Thanks to all. Meditation begins on Wednesday, October 20th at 7:30 p.m. This is a 1-hour guided meditation for beginners and intermediates. This will be a hybrid meditation with some folks in our sanctuary and some folks tuning in from home on Zoom, led by our minister, Reverend Wayne Walder. You can contact him at revwayne@live.ca for more info. Small groups are beginning. Our small groups are places where we can make better friends, get to know strangers, and learn spiritual and psychological skills. These monthly meetings occur in the evenings by Zoom and last into the winter and some all year round. The 3 that we're starting in the fall is the Active Hope small group on the book Active Hope, This 7-session group book journey will include reading the book Active Hope by Joanna Macy together, meeting online the 3rd Thursday of each month to share reflections and try some of the experiential processes, and a partnered homework between meetings where participants connect with a different partner each month from the group to try out one or more of the exercises in the book. For more info, contact our office manager, Hala, at office@nuuc.ca. This group is being led by Natalie Zand and Bruce Line. Second group we're offering is a small group on hypnosis. This small group is an overview to hypnosis and introduces hypnosis techniques to promote self-awareness and self-care. Again, write to Hala in our office. This group will be led by Anna Di Felice. And our minister, Reverend Wayne, is offering a small group on healing ourselves and our community. This 6-session small group will focus on the concerns we have after facing a generational trauma in COVID. Through stories, poetry, and short informational articles, we can build a capacity in ourselves and potentially in the community for healing. Singing meditation is happening this coming Saturday from 7 to 9 p.m. outdoor, distanced in our own courtyard, just at the side of the building. Singing meditation is an evening of songs and chants from a variety of spiritual traditions, interspersed with time for silent meditation. That's co-led by Phyllis and Fred, who you're going to hear this morning doing our prelude and meditation, and myself. If you would like to attend, please email me at music@nuc.ca because we have a 10-person capacity for singing med. An online multi-faith discussion on poverty. This is replacing our yearly Chew on This event. On October 17th, that's next Sunday at 3 p.m. Please join the spiritual leaders of the Danforth multi-faith community in exploring the pressing issues of poverty and hunger in our greater community. In this event, we will have speeches from each of our spiritual leaders, a short video, and some time for questions and answers. Hope you will join us. The Zoom link will be sent on Monday to register. And next Sunday, our theme is the shadows of home. Our minister will be back, the Reverend Wayne Walder, to provide the message of inspiration, and guest musicians Sam and Jen will be joining us to provide all the music for the service.
Good morning, and welcome to our Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist congregation on Zoom. Though we are physically apart, we strive to connect ourselves spiritually. My name is Kurt Thomsen. I'm a member of this congregation, and I am glad to be your virtual service weaver this morning. As you've heard, our music director, Susanne Maziarz, is in our home at 310 Danforth. Our minister, the Reverend Wayne Walder, is off this morning. And doing the message is a longtime member of our congregation, a chaplain, a youth worker, and someone who has been really spearheading our safe and congregations situation. Sorry, Yvette Roberts, who will be doing the message from her home in Tobermory. We also have Mike Kosowski, who's doing the web hosting duties, and our chair of child and caregiver program, Zach Getchell, who will be giving you this message from home, will also be doing the the cutting and pasting. Thanks to all of them. Just a few notes on Zoom. Unless called to speak, please keep yourselves muted. Please keep your chat open for lyrics and readings, and please refrain from sending chat messages to everyone. Also, if you are having trouble reading the chat, on a PC, you can press Control+, and on a Mac, you can press Command+ to enlarge the text. We now have closed captioning. So please, on the bottom of your screen where you see the icons, click on the closed captioning, and you can start or stop it as you see fit. This service is being recorded for YouTube and our website. joys and concerns, and other such private moments will be edited out. If you do have privacy concerns, please turn off your camera and rename yourself. This is our threshold moment. Please also take this time to turn off any distracting apps that may distract you and turn your device to do not disturb. As we light our chalice, please feel free to light a chalice in your own space or form your hands in the shape of a chalice. As Susanne lights our chalice, please join our choir in singing our chalice invocation song.
We light this chalice to remember, to light the fire within our own hearts.
And now for our opening prelude. Fred and Phyllis, would you care to introduce it, please?
Good morning, everyone. For the prelude this morning, since it is Thanksgiving weekend, we've got a chant that's all about thankfulness and gratitude. The first word is Ya Shakur, which is the essence of gratitude. Ya Shakur Allah. And then we say Ya Hamid, and Phyllis will fill you in on that one.
Ya Hamid, the hamd is the, Allah has given everything in the universe its own unique essence, even water and milk and stones and humans and bugs. And so the Hamid is that part of the divine within us that we are grateful for and we offer in gratitude to each other, to the one. So this chant is all about recognizing our divine essence in all of creation and praising that and offering gratitude towards that. And so we have Ya Shakur Allah, Ya Hamid. The second part of the chant, La ilaha il Allahu, La ilaha il Allah is, I'll let Fred tell us about that zikr.
So this is zikr, like it's a particular chant that all Muslims do and Sufi orders do, and essentially it means, there is nothing except the one divine or the one truth, and it resides in us all, of course, and this helps us connect to that. So please sing along. Sounds like this. How does it sound, Phyllis?
Ya Shakur Allah, Ya Hamid, Ya Shakur Allah, Ya Hamid, Ya Shakur Allah, Ya Hamid, Ya Shakur Allah, Ya Hamid. La ilaha illallahu, La ilaha illallah,
Allah, Ya Hamid, Ya Shakur Allah, Ya Hamid, Ya Shakur Allah, Ya Hamid, Ya Shakur Allah, Ya Hamid. La ilaha illallahu, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallahu, la ilaha illallah, Ya Shakur Allah, Ya Hamid, 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 La ilaha illallahu, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallahu, la ilaha illallah. Amen.
Amen. This morning, most of us are in isolation in our homes. These homes that we recognize that are on the lands of the Wendat, the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, the Mississauga, and the Ojibwe Chippewa nations, joined by the Métis and the Inuit, who have welcomed us with open arms onto these lands, though unfortunately we have not done our best to pay back this welcome. This is a land acknowledgement that recognizes the peoples that have been on this land, that are still existing on this land. This is only words, and we must put action behind these words. In the same way, we must put action behind the eighth principle we have just agreed to support, to endeavor to dismantle racism and other oppressions that lie within ourselves and in our congregations. The theme of this month is Welcome Home. And our guest speaker, our lay chaplain, Yvette Roberts, will be discussing finding home. I remember the words of Lemony Snicket. After you have left home, sometimes you may feel homesick, even though your new home has better wallpaper and a better functioning dishwasher than the home you had as a child. This is something that means something very special to me because I've had a long time to learn that it's not the building that makes a home, it's the people. When I was 6 years old, I was forced to go to a blind school in Brantford and only come home on the weekends in summer. And unfortunately, my biological family and I, we never really worked on really becoming together as a family. I had this romantic idea of home when I was a child, but due to what I just said about not having the bonding, that romantic notion was disillusioned by the time I became a teenager. Our mission here at Neighborhood is to empower spiritual growth and shared action for the care of our world. If you are new here to Neighborhood, or if you are just coming for the maybe first, second, or third time, a very special welcome. When we offer breakout rooms at the end of service, if you do so wish, you may choose to not enter a breakout room and stay in the main room, and Suzanne and maybe one or two other members of the staff might be there will be there to give you an idea of who we are and what we stand for. At this time, we usually would turn to our neighbor and say a hello or how are you? On Zoom, please turn to gallery mode and briefly unmute yourself and say hello. And in about a minute or so, we'll have a chime to bring you back.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
everyone.
How nice to see you. Hi, Bruce. Michael Abdi.
Good morning, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Here.
Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy
Hi, Lucy.
Happy Turkey Day.
Oh, hi, Dina.
Turkey. Yes.
Susan, luckily we're not a
Double,
turkey
double.
today.
Yeah, it's not that.
Hi, Moira.
Hi,
Veronica.
Veronica.
John. Hi,
Dolly.
Hello.
Hi, John.
Hi, Susan.
Hi, Gail. You're doing good.
Dina
Dina.
Peter.
There's Nancy.
Hello,
Susan.
Luann.
Michael.
Hi,
Hi,
Carrie.
Hi.
Bruce.
Nice to see you. Hi, Terry. Hi,
Hello,
Greg. Hi,
Bruce.
Dave. Hey, Moira.
Looks like Michael.
And since this is Thanksgiving, I think today our opening words have a more special meaning. So if you would read with me the words that will be projected on our screen. And if you are on a phone and do not know the words, just listen in. Let us cast a circle of a sacred space here. Let us cast a circle of a cherished space here, a space of safety, a place of forgiveness, a place of love. If we want the world to change, we must craft in our space and in ourselves the seeds that grow a different kind of life, a life of graciousness, of creative intelligence, a place of life and spirit for ourselves and our families. Now, as we hold this place open to grace and insight, I now invite those who are young in body and in heart to come to the screen. And Zach has a story and will even lead us into our first song today.
Good morning, everybody. So our topic today is finding home within ourselves, wherever we are. And Suzanne picked an excellent song for our opening song, which we'll play in just a moment. I just wanted to take a few minutes beforehand to tell you the story behind this song, because it has a great story as well as great sound and energy. The song is called Tula Cliseo and was written by Joseph Shabala from the South African music group Ladysmith Black Mambazo. He wrote the relatively simple two-line song in a taxi in New York while he was homesick and missing his family. Because of some unfair laws at the time, he wasn't sure if he would ever see his family again. The words of the song are Tula Cliseo, Nala Pasekaya, and they have a very special meaning. See, this song is written in the Zulu language, and it means, "Be still my heart. Even here I am at home." And the song goes like this. Tula Cliseo, Nala Pasekaya, Tula Cliseo, Nala Pasekaya, Hey Kaya Nala Pasekaya, Hey Kaya Nala Pasekaya. So let's break that down a little bit and learn it together. We'll start with the first phrase, Tula Cliseo. Tula Cliseo. Now you try. Tula Cliseo. And the next phrase goes, Nala Pasekaya. Now you try. Nala Pasekaya. Let's try the two together. Tula Cliseo, Nala Pasekaya. The next part of the song goes, Hey Kaya. Try that. Hey Kaya. And then Nala Pasekaya, which we've done before. Go for it. Nala Pasekaya. So now let's put the whole thing together. Tula Cliseo, Nala Pasekaya. Tula Cliseo, Nala Pasekaya. Hey Kaya Nala Pasekaya. Hey Kaya Nala Pasekaya. Great. So before we actually sing this with the spirit choir, I wanted to teach you the dance as well. Because in most places in the world, people don't sit or stand still when they sing. They move and dance as well. And this is especially true for some of the people of South Africa, where this song comes from. And this is their dance. It's fairly simple dance, where we stand up and bend a little bit forward at our hips so that our legs are straight to the ground and our bodies are tilted forwards a little bit. And very simply, we stomp our right foot forward on the beat of the song while we hold our hands about waist height. And as we stomp, we push down with our hands towards the ground. Tula Cliseo, Nala Pasekaya. Tula Cliseo, Nala Pasekaya. And then for the second part of the song, when we go Hey Kaya, we throw our hands towards the heavens before bringing them back down for the remainder of the beat. So it goes like this. Hey Kaya Nala Pasekaya. Hey Kaya Nala Pasekaya. So that's the dance that goes with this song. It's pretty simple, isn't it? And this dance also has an important story. For thousands of years, the Zulu people of Southern Africa would do great dances full of leaping, big kicks into the air, and stomping on the ground proudly. These dances showed great strength, power, and defiance. But under these unfair laws called apartheid, the Zulu people weren't allowed to do their traditional dances, or show their power and defiance, or they would likely be sent to jail. So they came up with this dance called escatamia, which means either tiptoe step or to stomp quietly. And they use this dance to show power and defiance in a new way, in a safe way, to say no to the unfair laws that try to keep us separated from each other. So please join our choir as we sing and dance, showing our power and defiance as we learn to find home within ourselves, no matter where we are.
1, 2, 1, 2. Tula Cliseo, Nala Pasekaya. Tula Cliseo, Nala Pasekaya. Hey Kaya Nala Pasekaya. Hey Kaya Nala Pasekaya. Tula Cliseo, Nala Pasekaya. Tula Cliseo, Nala Pasekaya. Hey Kaya kaya nala pasekaya. Hey kaya nala pasekaya. Tula plezio nala pasekaya. Tula plezio nala pasekaya. Hey kaya nala pasekaya. Hey kaya nala pasekaya. Tula plezio nala pasekaya. Tula plezio nala pasekaya. Hey kaya nala pasekaya. Hey kaya nala pasekaya. Tula plezio nala pasekaya. Tula plezio nala pasekaya. Hey kaya nala pasekaya. Hey kaya nala pasekaya. Tula plezio nala pasekaya. Tula plezio nala pasekaya. Hey kaya nala pasekaya. Hey kaya nala pasekaya.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to be doing joys and concerns today. Okay, well, I'd like to take this opportunity to light this final symbolic candle for all the joys and concerns that remain unsaid, unspoken in our hearts. I'm now going to call on Phyllis and Fred to lead us in meditation.
So for this Christian holiday of Thanksgiving, I thought to do a chant that's actually the 5th line of the Jesus prayer. Havlan Lakma Desun Kanan Yaumana. And this is the line that's that has been interpreted as, give us this day our daily bread. But it's so much more than that. In the Aramaic language, there's a number of possibilities for each word. It's not as exact as the English language. So here's a couple of possible translations. Grant what we need each day in bread and insight, sustenance for the call of growing life. Or give us the food we need to grow through each new day, through each illumination of life's needs. Let the measure of our need be earthiness. Give all things simple, verdant, passionate. So you can see there's quite a few different interpretations. So this is the 5th line. After we finish chanting this, I'll recite the whole Jesus prayer in its original form in Aramaic. So it goes like this. Havlan lakma desun kanan yaumana. 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 Havlan lakma desun Kanan Yaumana 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 Abwun de Bashmaya Nikkarishmach Tete Malkuta Nehwe Tivyana Ikana Dubashmaya Afbarha Havlan Lakma Desun Kanan Yaumana Washbuklan Hyobain Waktahain Ikana Dahanan Shwakan al Hyobain Wailan Tatlan Litness Yuna Ela Patsan Min Bisha Metur de Lachim Malkuta Wahaila Watesh Bukta La Alam Amin Amen.
Good morning, everyone. At the end of the day, it isn't where I came from. Maybe it's somewhere I'm going and have never been before. Home. Good morning, friends. From my home to yours, I send you greetings and blessings. My talk this morning is on finding home. I'll get my computer to cooperate with me. I want to first start off by asking you, what does home mean to you? Maybe it's the physical structure you're in right now, the place that you're watching this morning's service, the place you live, the place you sleep in. Think about the community that your home is located in. Think about the city, the province, the country that it is located in. Have you ever wondered how you ended up here? In this particular place, this particular home, in this particular city? Some people are born into the home, or at least the city, that they still reside in. Others, perhaps due to their parents' need to travel for work, or their own need and desires to explore the world, have found home in many different places. I grew up in what is known as the Riverdale, or I call it the Greektown area of Toronto, from 1967, when I was born, up until 1986. When at the age of 19, with a newborn baby, I moved into my first independent apartment on Hastings Avenue in what is known as Leslieville. Now, at the time I was moving there, it was just becoming known as Leslieville, thanks to the advocacy work of our very own Bruce and Terry Brackett, who had it renamed Leslieville back at that time. I have long truly believed that it is so important for a child to grow up in a stable home environment. It offers a foundation, it offers predictability and assurance when often the rest of the world cannot. I am grateful, and I do not take for granted the fact that every place that I have called home has offered me foundation, sanctuary, safety, security. Home for me has always been a safe refuge, a place to escape from the outside dramas and energies. And I'm still able to make it that, no matter where I find myself residing. And even though, for various reasons, during my son's young adolescent years, we found ourselves moving about 7 times in 8 years. The life of a renter in a chaotic city. But we finally found ourselves settling into a lovely apartment on the 5th floor at Brimley and St. Clair, overlooking the Scarborough Bluffs. That became home for us for 8 years, up until 2013. Leading up to 2013, I was basically ever increasingly burning out as a social worker, starting around 2008, and I left my 12-year job at Rosalie Hall on less than positive terms back in October of 2012, feeling like I was losing my identity as a social worker, but also losing my home, because that place of work, as for many of us, is often a second home. This was also just weeks before we found out that my sister, who had been battling breast cancer since October 2011, would not be surviving this battle with breast cancer. And I had spent 14 months from October 2011 up until December 2012 with her, attending appointments, sleeping on her floor many nights, and then later in a hospital cot, on a hospital cot at Princess Margaret Hospital. Within weeks of her passing in December of 2012 and the end of the world that I had known with her in my life, I gave up the place that I had called home for 8 years. I gave notice to the landlord that I would be leaving at the end of March, not knowing, nor at that point caring, where I might end up. Not able to work, at least not full time at that time, with no money saved for moments such as this. I just wanted to run away from home, from everything and everyone. And here came a pivotal moment in my journey and my discovery. When you do not or cannot care anymore about anyone or anything, whether you succeed or fail, whether you have a home or not, and honestly, even for a brief time, even whether I lived or died. An incredible and unexpected feeling of freedom just might come over you. Not caring, not fearing, felt so freeing. I let go of those artificial reins that many of us hang on to so tightly in life, trying to control our lives and everything around us. In my grief, I was living and coping just one breath at a time. One day at a time was all I could handle. And only planning, well, really not able to plan for anything beyond that. That turned out to be an incredible lesson and an incredible journey in mindfulness and being here now. I suspect those practices may have come from someone who was grieving. In April of 2013, after putting everything I owned into storage and leaving some for the dump that wouldn't fit into the moving truck, I made home on my mother's couch. And then somehow, I still to this day don't really know where the idea came from. I posted on good old Facebook that I was available for house sitting and pet sitting, figuring that I'd spend maybe 4 or 5 or 6 months bouncing around from place to place, home to home, taking care of other people's pets and homes, while I figured out what my plan B was going to be, following all these endings that I was facing. Feeling for the first time ever that the last thing I wanted was a home. It's hard to describe how for years the thought of signing a lease or having a foundation made me nauseous. It was the last thing I wanted, because then it would be going back to normal. And I was trying to avoid anything that would pretend that my life was going to go back to normal. And yet never imagining in my wildest dreams how that simple posting on Facebook and then mentioning here one Sunday morning at neighborhood during Joys and Concerns that I was available for pet sitting and house sitting. How could I have ever possibly known that that alone and no other effort, pretty much, would lead to me spending the next 6 years of my life as a house sitter and a pet sitter, dragging my big plastic hot pink suitcase around from home to home and place to place, mostly across Toronto and in many of your homes, because a lot of my house sitting gigs actually came from members of neighborhood and or friends of members of neighborhood. And without knowing it, each and every one of you and every person that allowed me into their home was helping me as much as I was helping them. It turned out a lot of you had dreamt of taking world trips, going away for weeks or months, but not knowing who to trust your home or your pets to. And you trusted me. And yet during that time, I too unexpectedly was experiencing spiritual and internal growth without even having to leave the city. Now I know, and many of you have heard me say, that I truly believe my sister Annette has gifted me this incredible life that I now live. Within months of her passing, I was shocked at just how many things, amazing things, were happening in my life. Again, without me really making much effort. How many pet sitting opportunities just presented themselves one after another throughout 2013, starting in May, then booking into 2014. I remember crying when I got a booking leading into 2014. It just happened. And why? Why were things just happening in my life? Because I gave up control. I gave up control, and I basically gave up caring more for others than I was caring for myself. I was now living for me. I gave over control to the universe in what some might call Jesus take the wheel moment, but as an atheist, I just call it spirits, ancestors, and that take the wheel, because I can't steer this ship anymore. I might have intentionally crashed my ship. And they did. Those spirits and those guides and those ancestors that I always knew were there, but I stubbornly resisted, they were there. They showed themselves to me, and I let them take control. And since May of 2013, I have found home in literally hundreds of homes, not only now across the city, in other places too, from Michigan to Guelph, all over Tobermory, and places in between. Now, I have been asked many times, how? How do you go into a stranger's home? How do you sleep in someone else's bed? How do you live in communities that you are not familiar with? Bouncing from place to place, day to day, week to week, month to month, year after year. Well, here's something else I have learned on my spiritual journey of finding home. When you feel at home within yourself, you can find home anywhere. So now I fast forward 8 years, 8 incredible years to this very present moment that we're all joining together in right now. It had been such a long time dream of mine to move and live in Tobermory, a place I have called my spirit home since first walking this land back in the summer of 1990. This place that is the epitome of sanctuary for me. It offers me all the elements: earth, air, clean air, clear skies, stars that are just unbelievable at night, water, crystal clear water you can see 20 feet deep, even that shipwrecks that have been there for 100 years. Everything I need to live and survive is here in Tobermory. There's a magic to these lands. Some of you already know that. It's where I've always been meant to be. I think it might have been the place I've been before. Perhaps this was home at another time. And back in 2014, coming up here for a fall getaway, I realized my son was fine. He was taking care of himself finally at 26. My mother was healthy and didn't need me to care for her, although she didn't like the thought of me moving so far away. Commitments and work were minimal because I wasn't working full time. Yet I had many other commitments for volunteering, especially here at Neighborhood and so many of the projects, lay chaplaincy, safe congregations, youth work. That was tough. That was tough to give up all of those responsibilities and all of those ties and connections to find my home and come to my home. But I did it. I'll say it again, because when I stopped putting the needs of others ahead of myself, which we often find ourselves doing, for the first time ever, it didn't feel selfish. It felt liberating. In the past 4 years that I have made Tobermory my home, I have come to believe ever more strongly in the magic that this place holds, in the belief that is now my mantra: Tobermory provides. When you are living where you are meant to live and doing what you are meant to be doing, the universe provides. Magic happens. Now, this is my home. This is the Mermaid Inn in Tobermory, where I have been the innkeeper since April of this year, where I've been asked recently by the owner who purchased this property in November if I would see myself committing to staying here as an innkeeper for the next 2, maybe even 3 years. Wow. Commitment, stability, foundation, home. Words that for the last many years, as I mentioned earlier, created anxiety and nausea within me. I am now so ready to accept. Spirit's willing, and with gratitude to them and to my sister for making this crazy, beautiful life of mine happen, I am so ready to be home. Thank you all for being here this morning, for allowing me to share my journey of finding home with you. Come visit sometime. I'd love to see you here. Be well.
Thank you very much, Yvette. Showing us about finding home. When we have found a home now here at Neighborhood, whether it be the physical home or the home of having companionship, it is wonderful. And yet we still have other ways and other needs that we have to do in order to maintain it. Some people don't always want to think about it, but we may have to bring about financial gifts that some of us may want to do willingly, and some of us may find a bit of a hard time doing. but all gifts of financial welcome are indeed welcome. Any size is welcome. If you have been donating to Neighborhood for a sufficient time, thank you. If you have had difficulty during COVID to offer a donation, please consider a check or an e-transfer, which are the easiest methods to do. In the chat, you will find a link to our webpage, and you just automatically goes to our donations page. So maybe take a moment to do that while Susanne plays some music. Thank you.
When shadows fall and trees whisper day is ending, my thoughts are ever wending home. When crickets call, my heart is forever yearning once more to be returning home. When the hills conceal the setting sun, hide the setting sun, stars begin a peeping one by one, peeping one by one. Night covers all, and though fortune may forsake me, sweet dreams will ever take me home.
For what you have given to our congregation, you give to the people of our congregation for our growth and our sharing. Thank you. And now for a closing song that helps us recognize a bigger home that we are on, a big round home that we are on. Susanne, would you mind helping us get on our big blue boat?
Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say,
before we close, I would just like to say that if I and the other service weavers were not welcomed here to find this home, we would not have the energy to do this service weaving that you have granted us. So I thank all members of the congregation for making this home and welcoming each other here. My thanks. Blessed be. And now we come to the time to extinguish our chalice. So please, as Suzanne's extinguishing it, please join our choir in our chalice extinguishing song.
Although our chalice has been darkened, we hold the fire within our own hearts.
Usually at this time in the service, we will be joining hands and saying a farewell. But we have this venerable Eastern tradition of the Namaste, which salutes the spirit within each of us. So please unmute yourselves and say Namaste to all.
Namaste.
Be well, everybody.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Be well.
Namaste.
Thank you, Yvette.
Everyone.
Thanks, Yvette. You're so welcome.